Welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. Today we're going to take a look at the Sting expanded CD editions that have been released exclusively in Japan. So we've got 5 albums here, and we're going to start off with Sting's first record, which is 1985's The Dream of the Blue Turtles. Now, first thing to point out is we've got a good old-fashioned fat box jewel case, because this is a 3 CD set. So all these expanded editions are based on the digital expanded editions, which have been released over the last few years. So the track listings are identical to what's on streaming, and there's a big discussion about the pros and cons of the track listing on SDE actually. So you can go to the link on your screen now, and if you want to take part in the discussion about the good, bad or ugly part of the track listings, then you can do so. But this is primarily going to be looking at the packaging of these reissues. Now, as usual with Japan, they always do a good job. So all these reissues, which we're going to look at, come with slip cases, obi strips, two booklets, Japanese, English, and you can see what everything looks like here. So they also all come with resealable sleeves. So even though these aren't paper sleeve vinyl replica reissues, they all come with resealable sleeves, even the fat box with a New Music Fridays sticker on it. And then in all cases, the obi strip actually goes round the slip case, or in the case of the 2 CD version, it's actually an O card, it's not a slip case, if we're going to get technical. But yes, the track listing's there in Japanese. Here it's very clear what's on the 3 CDs. This is a 3 CD set. CD 1, the album. CD 2 and 3, B-sides, remixes, extra tracks, etc. So just taking a look at this one. So Another Day was a B-side. Ballad of Mac the Knife was a B-side. And I mean, they have rather overdone it, but there's loads of remixes of If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free. Now, majority of these remixes are ones that were released later. I think sort of a lot of these were on When We Dance in the early 90s. Soul Power mixes, radio edits, house mix, deep dub. Speaking politely, some of these are inessential. I mean, the Brothers in Rhythm ones aren't bad, but the ones everyone's going to be interested in are the ones that were released at the time. So the dance mix here, the third track, If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free dance mix, that's the Jelly Bean version. That's the sort of 7 or 8 minute version. I think it's nearly 8 minutes. And then the William Orbit mix, this is also known as the Torch Song mix. It's not actually a mix at all, it's a completely different recording of the song produced by William Orbit. It ended up on the 12-inch. Really, really interesting. So, you know, 3 and 4 are the really interesting ones. Not so interesting the rest of them. And then at the bottom of CD 3, it gets interesting again, because you get original mixes of Love Is the Seventh Wave. So the new mix was on the 12-inch, and special single mix was the single version, which is different to the album version, so that's good. It ends with a kind of modern 2003 remix of Moon Over Bourbon Street. Fortress Around Your Heart, Hugh Padgham remix. Again, I think that's another one that came out in the early 90s. So a bit of a mixed bag, but it ticks most of the boxes in terms of some of the mixes that haven't really been readily available. I mean, there are some things missing. The B-side of Russians isn't on here. Gabriel's Message. Anyway, let's have a look at the packaging. I mean, they've done a good job. Nice attention to detail, sort of how they write expanded edition on the outside of the package depends on the artwork of the box set. So that's Dream of the Blue Turtles there. Then we're going to look at this in a minute, but There's Nothing Like the Sun. That's written slightly differently. Same with Soul Cages. Most noticeable on 10 Summoner's Tales, you can see it's written there kind of in the sort of handwriting-y kind of a font, which is in line. So I like that kind of detail. But let's concentrate on Dream of the Blue Turtles then. So, like I say, you got a little slipcase here, which is good. I mean, the reason for the slipcase is to put this track listing on the back, because when you actually get to the album, they maintain the packaging of the original. So there's no mention of the bonus tracks here. So it looks really good. I mean, it's quite unusual. It's a bit of a novelty having a brand new release in this kind of packaging, because you just would never get this in the UK now. Last time I saw this kind of packaging was around 2010 for the Arcadia Deluxe Edition. So there's the CD ones, that's the album. Pretty sure these just use whatever the latest remaster is. It hasn't been newly remastered for this release. Now the booklet basically is exactly the same as the original. It kind of has lyrics, has a really good set of photos. It's just nicely designed. I say booklet, it's actually one of these kind of folding, don't know what you'd call it, but it folds like that. But everything in here is an exact reproduction of what came out originally. Now you do get this additional Japanese booklet which lists the contents, CD1, CD2, CD3 in English and Japanese. And then it has the lyrics in Japanese. And it has the lyrics in English as well. It's quite good actually, so you get sort of bonus tracks, lyrics, which is quite nice. So that's something to bear in mind. So that sits in there. And then these are, it's a 3-disc set, so there's disc 3 there. Oh, sorry, disc 2. And then the 3rd disc sits here. And then behind this 3rd disc are, again, as a reminder, the track listings for discs 2 and 3. So it's quite nicely done. I'd much rather have this than not have it. It's not, like I say, the track listing's not perfect. All those mixes of If You Love Somebody set them free. Kind of slightly OTT, but at least this is available as a physical product, so quite pleased with that. And there's one other 3-disc set which we'll look at the end, but that's Dream of the Blue Turtles. So moving on to the next album, which is 1987's Nothing Like the Sun. A brilliant record, this. It's a bit more traditional, this, a 2 CD set, same resealable sleeve, still got the obi strip. So when you take it out, as I said, actually, this isn't a slipcase as such because it's open at both ends. So it's what's called an O card, but minor difference. It hasn't got a closed end here. But there's the obi strip. The colours are very nice that they've used for this, the contrasting colours. So yeah, this is a 2 CD set. So what do you get? You get Conversation with a Dog, which is the B-side of We'll Be Together. The various versions of We'll Be Together, which were released on CD when it came out. Extended mix, alternative version, instrumental. Up from the Sky, Someone to Watch Over Me, Ghost in the Strand. You get the 2 Ben Librand mixes of Englishman in New York. The disappointing thing here is you get the released much later Fragile DJ Monk mixes, but you don't get the foreign language versions of Fragile, which were released at the time when the single came out. So that's an example of something that's not perfect. But obviously 12-track album on CD1. It all looks nicely laid out. They've used, original logos and typography and everything. So this is a jewel case again, but it's a sort of traditional kind of 2 CD jewel case. So opens up like that. Again, attention to detail. This kind of thing is kind of nicely done. So that's the 12-track album. And then you open it up that way. There's the extra tracks there. And a bit like the other one, if you look at the booklet, this was always quite a thick booklet, this, for Nothing Like the Sun. There's an additional Japanese booklet there. But yeah, this is identical to the original booklet. It's all this stuff's the same. It gives you a little bit of a blurb about each song. And then you get lyrics. So this is all the same. But as I say, same photos and everything. But nice reproduction. Doesn't say anything about Q sound on here. But as far as I can tell, you can't remove Q sound, so it must be on there. This is the booklet for the Japanese audience. And again, there's some English lyrics at the back here. Conversation with the Dog, the lyrics, so it's pretty cool. So yes, that goes back in there. And there's the obi strip. I mean, Sting's first two albums were amazing in their own way. Really, really good records. Right, third album, Soul Cages, 1991 this was. Same treatment as Nothing Like the Sun, 2 CD set, O card going over the front. The other good thing about the slipcases and the O cards is that when you remove them, you don't have any wording to say that it's expanded edition. It just keeps to the original artwork, so that's quite, it's a sort of best of both worlds scenario, so that's quite nice. Same as before, you turn it around, it's got the extra tracks. So this one's got B-sides, extra tracks, I Miss You Kate, Come Down in Time, Tempted Live, the original remix of Mad About You, various remixes of Mad About You actually, Spanish version of Why Should I Cry For You, Soul Cages edit, All This Time edit. So this one is kind of low on any kind of modern remixes. It's mainly stuff from the era, so that's quite positive. Again, repackaging looks really good. The CD design is really nice. You know, you've got this kind of, you can see the kind of glint there, this sort of metallic. You know, they've gone to a bit of an effort. Again, I like this brown contrasting colour. There's the extra tracks listed there. On the back you can see it's the same as, it's actually slightly better than the original. The original was extremely hard to read, those tracks, because it's so light. It's a bit easier to read on that one. And a bit like Nothing Like the Sun, the booklet, this booklet here is identical to the original. But again, you get another booklet here with Japanese lyrics and English lyrics as well. Except on this one, you don't get the lyrics for the bonus tracks, so that's a bit inconsistent. But anyway, it says CD1, it doesn't say anything about CD2, so that's slightly odd. So that's the Soul Cages, the Japanese expanded edition. Next up, 10 Summoners Tales. I mean, Soul Cages did well, but there was definitely a slight dip in Sting's commercial fortunes. But he came back very strongly with this record. Love the cover artwork. In fact, I love all the artwork related to this record. Same sort of treatment as the last two. Obi strip, O card here, expanded edition. So on this one, this is one of my favourite rarities from Sting. He re-recorded We Work the Black Seam from his debut album, Dream of the Blue Turtles, in 1993. It's absolutely brilliant. I did wonder if they would have put that on Dream of the Blue Turtles, but I think there would be an argument to do it both ways, but they've decided to stick with the era it was recorded. January Stars is on here. That was an extra track on one of the CDs. Alternate version of It's Probably Me. I think that's the single version, which is very, very different from the album. Various radio edits. Shape of My Heart live. Some live tracks at the end, basically. But anyway, it's a great record. Again, this compared to the first album, this is a bit more kind of confined to the era it all came out. But the artwork looks great. Once you take the slipcase off, no mention of expanded edition. Everything that Japanese are always so good at reproducing artwork in a way that isn't always the case in the UK or elsewhere. So yeah, there's CD1, CD2, the extra tracks listed here. Same as before really, CD booklet identical to the original. This booklet here covers the extra tracks and has some lyrics in. There's CD2 listed. Yeah, and on this one you get back to having some lyrics for the other one. So it's a bit odd that the previous record didn't have that. But January Stars is listed. We Worked the Black Seam, you get the lyrics to that. So there we go, there's 10 Summoners Tales, expanded edition, Japanese only. And finally, Brand New Day, 1999. This is a 3 CD set. Now, what happened to Mercury Falling, I hear you ask? That's 1996. They've skipped an album. Why have they skipped an album? Absolutely no idea. Nobody knows. I don't know why they've skipped an album. I think Mercury Falling is a much better album than Brand New Day. But for whatever reason they have, and we get a 3 CD version of Brand New Day. So we're back to the fat box dual case, we're back to the slip case. There we go, so there's the, this is a slipcase again, so it's got a closed end to it. Obi strip, tracks listed here. Let's look at the extra tracks. We really are into the 90s remix era here, so CD2, it has some demos, original version of Fill Her Up, some edits, Windmills of Your Mind, which is a B-side stroke extra track, but then it's just like loads of remixes, 1,000 Years, Desert Rose, After the Rain Has Fallen, you know, so I don't know how much fun you're going to get listening to all those remixes, but they've rounded them up. I'm sure this only scratches the surface of the remixes at the time. But there were a few live tracks at the end here, live at the Universal Amphitheatre. Nice shiny fat box jewel case. Again, no mention of the extra tracks on the rear there, just that kind of packaging. And as before, booklet here, which sort of echoes or duplicates exactly the original. And then the extra booklet here, which consistent with before, Japanese lyrics. And does this have any English lyrics at the back? Yes, it does. There you go, Windmills of Your Mind. You've got the lyrics to that. End of the Game, so it's quite good. Obviously, it's mostly remixes, so you don't need new lyrics. So that sits back down there. There's CD1, you lift that up. It's actually got CD2 and CD3 at the back of the CD1 disc, which is slightly odd. And then here you get some credits and things. So there we are, brand new day. Back in the slipcase, and there's the Obi strip. So I hope you've enjoyed this blast through 5 expanded editions from Japan, exclusive to Japan, not available anywhere else. Are we going to see them in the UK? Are we going to see them in Europe? Are we going to see them in the US? Nobody seems to know at the moment, but you know, I wouldn't count on it. So these are listed as limited editions that are going to go out of print. I ordered my set from CD Japan. How long they're going to stay available remains to be seen. In fact, CD Japan did give you a little bonus, which I'll show you. Not exactly essential, but you get this little postcard of the covers. There you go, Sting postcard. Presume you get 1 for each one you order, because I got 5. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video of these Sting expanded editions from Japan. If you have one, subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.